Frugal Force, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty. Sorry, I had a little frog in my throat there. I just wanted to do one of my conversational types of videos, and the big news right now is the Morbius teaser with Jared Leto sinks his teeth into the Marvel vampire role. And I read this article here on Deadline by Jeff Butcher or Bosher, whoever knows. Anyway, it was done just yesterday. Oscar winner Jared Leto sinks his teeth into the Marvel Comics horror character who dates back to 1971. That doesn't seem that long to me. In the first trailer for Sony's Morbius, the Sony Columbia Pictures Morbius, July 31st, is part of a mining expedition into the unexplored corners of the Spider-Man universe, and initially that has already produced a sleeper hit in the review-proof Venom with Tom Hardy. Now, just for the record, Venom did really well, but it didn't have a lot of competition, as well as Tom Hardy. The Venom movie with Tom Hardy didn't exactly break out with a lot of positivity for it, I think, but it did really well. Don't get me wrong, it did great for what it was expected, but it wasn't a great movie necessarily, based on what a lot of people's perceptions were. So they might be going in with a little more concern and trepidation before jumping in to Morbius. Also, Morbius is not nearly as well known of a character as Venom is. Even in the comics universe, he doesn't have as big of a support system. Not saying it can't be. Horror things do well usually. He's a vampire, but also vampires are not on the big hot streak. Venom, if this was done around Twilight time, it probably would have done a lot better. Anyway, it says Morbius is another horror-tinged bad guy plucked from the decades of published Spider-Man adventures and given a tailored standalone screen story that doesn't rely on Peter Parker as a protagonist. And that could be challenging too, because, as I said, Morbius isn't nearly as well known. I'm not saying he's a bad character. He's an interesting character, but he doesn't have the clout that Venom has. The most intriguing, unexpected element of the teaser, Oscar winner Michael Keaton pops up in the preview, reprising the role of Adrian Toomes, which is, in other words, the Vulture, and now imprisoned tech-scavenging villain from Spider-Man. Now, I think that's interesting, because Michael Keaton did a fantastic job. Michael Keaton's he's an awesome actor. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Michael Keaton there. He's just absolutely amazing. Anyway, it says, Homecoming. Toomes' presence in the trailer represents the first major bridge between the Sony expanded Spider Universe and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like many classic Marvel comic characters, both villains and heroes, the enigmatic anti-hero Michael Morbius is a figure of affliction, an outsider's soul whose superhuman abilities arrive packaged with tragedy and calamity. And absolutely true. And it'll be interesting to see how they introduce the character, because with the way that he is, what kind of story arc is this going to have? Well, because when you have an anti-hero, I think it's got to be a little bit more character related than fight related. It says, the Morbius synopsis from Sony: dangerously ill with a rare blood disorder and determined to save others suffering his same fate, Dr. Morbius attempts a desperate gamble. What at first appears to be a radical success soon reveals itself to be a remedy potentially worse than the disease. Yes, he turned himself into the living vampire. Yes, I used the comic title, the name of the cover, by the way, if you weren't aware of that. Leto won an Oscar for portraying an HIV-positive trans woman, ran in Jean-Marc Vallée's 213 from Dallas Buyers Club. Why do we need to know all this? I guess they're just telling us what movies he's in. Who doesn't know who Leto is, I guess? Well, maybe a lot of people, I don't know. Or at Suicide Squad in 2016, he joined as he played the Joker, which I don't think was really taken in that good. I don't think that's a good thing to share. I don't think his portrayal of the Joker was really liked that much. I think people prefer Joker's portrayal by lots of other people. Heck, Joaquin Phoenix, I think, did a lot better job. Heath Ledger did a better job. Heck, I think most people will also prefer Jack Nicholson. Well, maybe not today because he's a little too old for the part. Of course, Mark Hamill's voice was fantastically known with it. I just don't see when people think Joker, they think Jared Leto, and that's a great way to say, hey, it's going to be awesome. So, that's just it. Then we go into who's directing the film. Daniel Espinosa directed the film, working off a script by Matt Sussman and Burke Shapeless, and art Markham and Matt Holloway, and a story by Shamas and Shapeless. Morbius is produced by Matt Tomak, Avi Arad, and Lucas Foster. Which again, I don't see anything huge there that throws up a flag or throws up oh, this is going to be amazing. So that might be the problem with this whole thing. The living vampire Morbius might come out more of a rather than a oh cool, and so they're going to need to spark some interest in this movie. And I think Leto can play this character well. I think he can portray it and look like it well, so there's definitely some potential there. But I think they're going to need to do a lot more to stir up a buzz for this movie if it's going to have much of a chance to sink its teeth into the audience and pull us in and suck us in to this character's lore. Yeah, I used a little bit of wordplay there, maybe not to the best. But that's my thoughts. I want to know what your thoughts are. What do you think about this Morbius? Did you watch the teaser? Do you think it looks good? Do you think it's going to land with a thud? Maybe it's going to be a victim of superhero and movie burnout. Or, as I said, people jumped onto Venom because the Venom, has a lot of popularity behind him. But overall, the aftermath, how many people want to go and see that again? It didn't go over really well with the audience as much as they'd like to say. It wasn't terrible, just wasn't great. And that lands it in the land of, which might be where Morbius will be stuck. All right, let me know your opinions. Don't mind, help out the channel, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and until next time, keep it real.